east flowed towards the southwest, which was 4 meters lower. Although Angkor Thom was located far inland, it was a city on the water. And anyone could take a boat past the canals to Lake Tonle Sap and sail all the way to the ocean. So what was the king's procession like at the time? Let's examine Zhou Deguan's records. When the king went on an outing, he was escorted by a procession of horses, flags, and a band. He was also accompanied by 300 to 500 ladies in waiting, carrying candles in the daylight, as well as a retinue of female warriors. The king, his queen, and his concubines rode palanquins, coaches, horses, and elephants, and they were shielded from the sun by 100 parasols decorated with gold. The tusks of the king's elephants were ornamented with gold, and the king rode the elephant carrying a sacred sword in his hand. His hands were painted red, and he was surrounded by a battalion of elephants. There was a group of women who swept the road behind the king. This was to erase any trace of the royal procession. The most important basis of the king's power was his military. His army consisted of a division of 20,000 elephants, infantry, cavalry, and a division of archers who would rain down showers of arrows on the enemy. Each platoon consisted of 30 infantrymen armed with swords and shields, 5 horses, and a well-trained elephant. Women were also part of the military. Women were so skilled that the royal guard consisted entirely of them, and they even fought in battle during times of war. With a population of 700,000, Angkor Thom was the greatest city of its time. Jayavarman VII's accomplishments were truly impressive. He completed an 800-kilometer-long highway which connected his capital city to Thailand and built 121 inns as well as 102 hospitals. Before the king came to power, Southeast Asia had been a scene of turmoil and catastrophe. Numerous kingdoms in the modern-day Thailand, Vietnam, and Laos regions were attempting to expand their territories. But with a firm grasp of the throne, Jayavarman VII set his sights on a new ambition. He decided to conquer the neighboring territories with an army consisting of a cavalry of Chinese horses, a division of elephants, female soldiers, and infantry. The newly built highway offered the quickest route for invasion. Female soldiers, commanders on elephants, and infantrymen wielded spears probably passed this highway. The scene is also depicted in a gallery relief in Bayan Temple. But soldiers weren't the only members of this campaign. Because each campaign lasted for years and consisted of tens of thousands of soldiers, many of them brought along their families. It wasn't merely a military campaign, but a mass migration of sorts. At the time in Southeast Asia, the Vietnamese who had migrated from China were expanding their territories. And the Champa, who were the victims of this expansion, were putting pressure on the Khmer. This is the reason that Jayavarman VII decided to invade the Vietnamese through both land and sea routes. This war most likely changed the history of both the Khmer and Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, there are no definite records about the outcome of the war. Khmer histories record only the following. The Khmer most likely overwhelmed their enemies with their swift cavalry, infantry, and elephant division, which must have put fear into the hearts of enemy soldiers. This was the fiercest, most adventuresome, and final war of conquest in the history of the Khmer. And as a result, the Khmer Empire stretched from Laos and the Korat Plateau in Thailand in the north to the Malay Peninsula in the south, Burma in the west, to the heart of Vietnam in the east. These are the reasons that Jayavarman VII is revered by Cambodians along with Suryavarman II, the builder of Angkor Wat, as one of the greatest kings in their history. At the time, Jayavarman VII marched all the way to the northern Malay Peninsula and conquered Laos as well as part of the Champa Kingdom. He was the greatest conqueror in Khmer history. Although he is silent, his firmly closed lips, wide forehead, and gently closed eyes speak of his dreams and his ambitions. They say that there is no coincidence in history. Seeming coincidences are actually the result of man's actions. Jayavarman VII planned everything meticulously and put his plans into action, becoming one of history's greatest kings in the process.